Good morning. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yeah, Ram, your voice is coming through. No problem. The voice is all right. No problem. Yeah.
Madam has joined, I think. Just wondering.
I saw her. I think maybe she is stepped out.
It's in the process of, I think, settling down.
Visarjan in Hyderabad, they go to Tank Band or where? Tank Banda.
Oh, they go to tank, but they have also allocated to different tanks, little away also.
Okay.
Like Golconda and then Hayat Nagar, few tanks are there.
Okay.
This time they have made it, it should be only eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly.
The plaster of Paris, they have prohibited.
Yeah.
But the fact remains, even though they prohibited, most of them dumped the plaster of Paris.
அதுதான் பெரிய விக்கிரம் பண்றதுனால பிஓபி பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்கு. இல்லைன்னா கொஞ்சம் சின்ன விக்கிரமா பண்ணா ப்ராப்ளம் இல்ல. ரொம்ப பெருசா பண்றா எல்லா இடத்துலயும். இப்போ என்னன்னா they may want to make it bigger and bigger everywhere.
Very important. In Khairatabad here, it is closer to 70 feet this time.
ஐயோ, அப்படி எப்படி அது நிக்கும் மண்ணுல? So you need to give a POP and something.
The height is only going up, and all the big wigs are there actually, and it is too big.
70 தூக்கிண்டே எடுத்துட்டே போக முடியாது ஆண்டவா.
They take a big trailer, long trailer, and they take it up. They take little away and all. These are, I think there is always a competition, between mantaps.
அது இருக்கும். Competition is all right, but I think they have to also configure this. But I believe an amount of POP is permitted as per the code, but they may be exceeding.
They say once you take POP, whatever work you have done for the entire year, that is lost.
அதுல அது கோட் இருக்கு இல்லையா? the code which is prescribes an amount of POP usage.
Because they are also trying to find another way where they will put it into some sort of a pit, because slowly it will be crushed. But people don't want to know those things. They want to see it, as to happen.
அது ஆகிறதே கிடையாது. இந்த வருஷம் என்ன பண்ணா, இப்போ எங்க எல்லா டேங்க்ஸ் corporation keeps big tanks, nicely designed tanks filled with water. So you go immerse and give it to them. Some of them you can't leave it inside because many would like to immerse. So you do the immersion and then they put it into their vehicle and then they take it and take it far away and kind of.
See here, it is very good. It's very good that way.
நல்லா பண்றா எல்லாம் நிறைய. They do many things, but still what happens is this, because of the sheer number of idols which come out.
Right.
It is not easy to kind of ensure a very proper. நல்ல நிர்மாலியா எல்லாமே இருக்கு இல்லையா? எல்லாம் ஒன்னும் பண்ண முடியாது. எல்லாம் அவ்வளோ ஜெனரேஷன் ஆஃப் so much of waste is there. பூவெல்லாம் இருக்கு. எல்லாம் அது எப்படி டிஸ்போஸ் பண்ணுவேன் நீ? எல்லாம் கடைசியில it goes into some kind of கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம்தான்.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. Actually, my internet is something wrong. So I think my beach is frozen. That's why I switched off the camera totally.
Okay,
So
okay.
more bandwidth will come for listening at least.
Yeah. Better to close your camera because the bandwidth, may not be able to take it.
Support it. Yeah. True. Thank you.
In fact, I don't have an internet. I am connecting through my
Morning,
mobile.
Vidya.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah,
Universal.
Yeah,
Sure.
true.
Yeah, you take your own time.
One request. Later, I'll write it down that you keep telling about Bhagavad Gita that soul is the Sarthi and intellect is the Sarthi and all that. I'll write it down and I'll send it to you. Just okay it out where I'm making the mistake.
Sure.
See, when you explain it, it is easy to understand. But then that correlation, when I write it down, I make a mess in my mind.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is like, when the hot stuff, when it is being served, the heat is the main quality, we take it afterwards, it goes up, it's like that. Basically, I think, I will tell you a little more in, rather than you send it to me, I will correct it and send it. If possible, I will make a write up and send it also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because basically they have given an analogy, day-to-day analogy only, but the analogy is difficult to be picked up because we are not day-to-day life. They have to put headphone on.
Yeah, good morning. I want to tell only that. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, we will commence the proceedings for the day because as long as the power is there in my mobile, also I should be able to carry on.
Okay. So if you want, you can switch off the camera.
The fortunate problem, power is there, but the internet is not there. Because of the immersion, the fiber optics line, which is coming to our house has been disturbed somewhere. So now they are setting it right.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the reason.
Wow.
Okay, we will commence the proceedings for the day. Welcome everyone. Om Shri Gurubhyo Parama Gurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namah. Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolaya Niyadi Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madiprabhudan Vadan Rasya Kritavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Prajipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satya Dharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadenuvem Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadidamastu Ma Vishvidavahai Om Shanti Shanti. Welcome, friends. As we have discussed, because the important mantras, like as we were even discussing, a little while before, how, because the intellect is the Sarathi and, all the senses are the horses. The mind is the bridle that connects to the horses. The bridle is the one which finally conveys. It is like a communication line. Unless the communication is proper, you will not be able to get. The senses would like to convey whatever they are saying. The senses don't, they are simply an instrument, that's all. They don't have anything at all. But the senses are being told, because what to see, how sort of focused view should be there and all those things finally commanded by the intellect. Mind is the one which gets all the thoughts, all the views, all the, whatever you are hearing, all the words or the noises, shabda, that comes, whatever you see, that also comes to the mind. Everything is being communicated. It is unorganized. It gets everything, like whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you speak, whatever you think over, everything comes, because with the color of your thinking, it all comes to your mind. So it is to be filtered, it is to be distilled. But finally, with the distilled, finally, the intellect makes the decision to distill based on its all past knowledge, what is stored in this chitta. It has got the repository of the information. It has got the repository of the knowledge. Because when you are going to the postgraduate, you've got the knowledge of whatever you have done in your graduation, because all those things are at the back of your mind. It is not something mumbo jumbo. You will be able to appreciate because you already got the knowledge to appreciate. In fact, everyday life, when we are talking about at a very, very empirical level, whether we are able to see, because one of the things, what the Upanishad concentrates, all the philosophy concentrates is, you should be able to see the things as it is without any coloration, without any distortion. The coloration and distortion happens because of our own sort of our own. We have got our own thoughts. We have got our own attitudes. We have got our own thinking. We have got our own habits. Those things color. So we are not able to see, because we are able to like a person because he is, whatever he is doing is likable and he is amenable to our wishes, and we are able to get the things done through him. That's why we like him. Why don't we like someone else? Because he is not amenable. But if you see the absentee is a person, he possibly doesn't mean, whether it means something bad for you or good for you. It is how you are seeing, because your needs at that point of time and your conditionalities, that controls your view of any person or any object or anything that you see. Basically, when we see Adhyatma, when we slowly give up, why we say, we give up in the desire or anything like that. Desire in the sense, coloration, all those. Our own likes, dislikes, why we want to give it, so that you will be able to see the thing as it is. So you will not be able to color the sun and see it, because it is so powerful. You will have to see the sun as it is. You will not be able to, because when anyone see the sun, they will see it is a sun, it is hot. You will not be going to the hot sun of the day, because it is quite hot. And when the sun sets only, you try to venture out and do the things, because that's how it happens. But whereas the objects in the entire world, they are all being illumined by sun, and it is as it is, they have got the nature. But we are not able to see the right nature of the object because of our own conditionalities, because of our own angularities, because of our own likes, dislikes, and our own, because the vasanas which has come into us, that makes us see. Then how does it matter? Because after all, I will have to live in this world. I will have to live with whatever I require, and that is required. Yes, you can go that. But once you are able to see the things as it is, your decision will be far more right. Very often you may be seeing the miscarriage of justice that takes place, not only in the judicial sector, judicial parlance as it is. In our normal day-to-day life also, we might have mistaken a man as to be something bad or something like that. Afterwards, it will turn out to be actually he's a really good man. Maybe his way of presenting, his way of disposition, his way of interaction, because he is being brought like that. Every one of us are different. So each one of us are different. Maybe we are having the same life force, energy within us. But in spite of it, we are different, because that's why it said, if you see the tree, there may be so many branches, so many leaves, but two leaves will not be exactly same. At least there will be a 0.001% difference will be there. This has been proven, because there will not be two identical leaves with the same size, same color, same sort of, even the tune, everything will be, something will be different. Likewise, that happens because each one of us are having a conditionalities. One of the things when we say, because when the mind gives, it gives its coloration, it gives whatever all you see in the world, you hear in the world, with this coloration, it presents everything, to you to make a decision. The intellect, based on the vast reservoir of knowledge, what it has, the ability to discriminate, what is right or wrong, to the extent possible, within your capacity and conditionalities, it is trying to give you the organized action. The actionable, all thoughts are not actionable. When the thoughts are being distilled and discriminated, finally actionable thoughts comes into your intellect. That becomes the one which is guiding you. What we see, the discriminating power or the right knowledge, wrong knowledge, how the intellect is able to give is, it is only able to distill and finally give you the organized thoughts, which becomes actionable thoughts based on which you are able to live in this world. Nothing more than that. Intellect is finally what is doing, because you may be seeing, you may not, you will have a priority of different things. So many things will present, with their own emergency in front of you. But you will prioritize what is to be done first and what is to be done later. If am I to cook now, I will do it. If am I to take bath later, I will do it. But what is to be done, because that you decide based on at that time, the demand, what you want to have at that point of time. That is the intellect that does it. But intellect, because may not always be able to do as best as possible, because, we are finally, every time every day when we are evolving, the intellect also gets the sort of the higher power of distillation. The distilled wisdom comes through as you increase the power of the intellect, as you gather the knowledge, as you go and see this. Because when you gather the knowledge, the power comes when you are able to slowly give away all the conditionalities, the likes, the dislikes, as well as, because you may be having some attitudes, habits. When you give up slowly, then your intellect becomes far more efficient than what it was. That is the purpose for which, because the entire, what we call it, the internal journey, Adhyatma, what we are talking about and all. In fact, last 3 mantras, what we talk about, because Avijnanavan, Vijnanavan, Sarati, because in fact, morning also discussed. And how, because how it enabled to, finally you are able to get the destination or goal when it says and all. It is how you are able to get the input properly. And because the thoughts are only, because the knowledge what you have, the knowledge is only what you are seeing and validating every day with whatever, the basic capacity you have. The knowledge is for your living, but the distilled knowledge is the wisdom. The accumulated wisdom which helps you, that is going to take you to a higher level to rather live more purposefully and more gloriously in this world. And there is no end to it. Every day you will be having your wisdom quotient may be going higher. Like your knowledge quotient may be going higher, but the knowledge more it is distilled, then the wisdom quotient goes higher. The wisdom quotient is the finally what we call the discriminating power, the intellect, what we call it. The intellect has got two ways of drawing, because it's a capacity to distill. One is, based on the knowledge you accumulate every day from the world. Another one is it has got the stored knowledge from earlier births. So many births you have got. That is called chitta. It has got access. You are able to get into a vast, because the reservoir of knowledge what you have. And from there you are able to pick up. What is the artificial intelligence, the entire, the concept is working on. They get all the information of the world, whatever is possible stored. The artificial intelligence sort of rescues that information as and when it is needed, depending upon the need, and puts it to you. That's all. It is doing the same thing, whereas we have been given the capacity earlier, what we call is chitta, which is coming, vasana, what we call, birth after birth it comes. It has got the fund of knowledge. Because of that only, we are able to get so many things. A person becomes, more adept, in whatever stream he takes. Some person may be very good, once he takes up engineering or basic sciences or mathematics, or, because any performing arts and all, because it is all coming from, because several generations, it's not that. And you are able to access it. So you become a prodigy. A prodigy doesn't become a prodigy. Something flash doesn't happen. He is carried it for births after births. As just for the purpose of recollection, and Buddha has taken 17 births to evolve, finally get the nirvana, in the sense he has carried all the benefits of the 17 births. It has been brought to the fore in this current birth where he has become really a Buddha. Likewise, this is exactly what we are talking about. The intellect is nothing but the process of distilling the knowledge and getting it to it. And intellect has got another power of accessing it to your stored knowledge from birth after birth, which is in your chitta. This is being talked about. Finally, that is why, when you say, you will have to have the senses and control over the senses, because your mind, more it is trained. It will be able to pick up only those actionable thoughts, actionable sort of displays, actionable words. Okay, it will not get, because you may be hearing, something, so many people will be talking so many things, but you will be able to pick up only that. What happens, when you go to a sort of a formal congregation or a party and all. So then when you find out, you talk to, slowly you keep, picking up conversation. Finally, you land up with someone who is having the same vibration like you. You gel with that person, because when you have got the frequency of thought match, when the frequency, when the interest, you have got a common interest, the common frequency, when you find, you've got something to get the benefit out of, by interacting with the person that happens. So that likewise, it is basically intellect is nothing but it takes you to the right place, the right spot, which is required for you to grow further higher into this. And that is how, it is taking you to the destination. That is what, because just for the purpose of our own recollection only, I am reciting nothing. We will not go into about that. That 3 mantras, what we have seen, we will be going to the next 3 mantras in tandem. We will see them. They are going to bring about a further elucidation of whatever we have discussed and give a further focus on to, in detailed focus on to these things, how they have been dealt with in our scriptures. I will also tell you how scientifically they are trying to work out these things, parallelly in elsewhere, particularly in Western world, particularly in US. How they are doing it, how we have done, how elegantly we have done, how our masters have elegantly we have done, we will see that. So we have seen, the last mantras, 3 mantras, what we have seen. Yastu Vijnanavan Bhavati Amanaskaha Mata Asuchi. The one who is not able to control, the one who is not able to control, he will be, he will not be able to get to the destination in the sense, his mind will be like muddy water. See, Ganges is good, when it is in Gangotri and Yamunotri. As it comes to the Rishikesh and further to Haridwar, so many dirt and everything goes in, it gets muddied. It will not be able to reflect the same sun as the Gangotri or Yamunotri, where you will be able to see the higher echelons, where the reflection of the sun can be seen crystal clear to the bottom of the river. You will not be able to see elsewhere, further downstream. Because it happens in the world when we are just, because interacting, our clear mind, our clear consciousness, which is supposed to be crystal clear to get us and direct to us, but get muddy. The process of removing the mud, that is the distillation that happens. When you are having to have the brittle and all, you are trying to access only that information, which is because everywhere, in the entire the range of Ganga, they have put the water cleaning plants, the distillation plants are being put in, so that the distilled water is again sent into the river. Likewise, because more you get into the higher echelons, more you give up all your sort of qualities, the conditionalities, you will be able to access the right water and the Huns, we call it. The very, very, the proverbial Huns, the scripturally considered, it will be able to distinguish between the water and the milk. It will be able to take only the milk. So likewise, we will be able to take that. That is the ability we are trying to get into ourselves by slowly discriminating. Discriminating is by giving up, letting go so many things, not giving up, not renouncing. You've got so many dirt accumulated. Your likes, dislikes are the dirt that is accumulated because of the conditionalities at that point of time. So if I still behave like what I was in 10 years or 12 years, then, because I have not cleared, my dirt, because now so many things, I would be giving up. I know these are all meaningless. At that point of time, I might have had, some sort of likes and dislikes conditionalities. Now I can't have at the age of 60, 70 and all, because now I know I have evolved, but now I still have something remnants that there that I will have to clear it. This is exactly what it does. And Ektu Vijnanavan Bhavati Samanaskaha Suchi, that is the next month. Once you are able to clear, the water is crystal clear, you will be able to reflect the sun. You will be able to see the things as it is. So you will not be having any craving for any of the things. So next 3 mantras, what we will be seeing, because how the craving happens, and because how the craving can be, what is the purpose of craving? How the craving is some sort of an illusion. How it happens, how it gives the craving to the human beings to crave for something. We will see this entire the modality, this sadhana part of it. Perhaps the Swami Chinmayananda says you can't find in any other scriptures. In our own scriptures, it is rare to see. It has come in so many other places, but it is only for those who have mastered they can see. Whereas this Upanishad gives those 3 higher concepts. This is basically where we are going. This is to go to the destination. That is destination to see the things as it is. When you are able to see the things as it is, you will be able to see yourself as it is. When you are able to see your own reflection in the water, in the crystal clear, limpid water, you will be able to see everything crystal clear, because you will not have any more imagination of yours. In the muddy water, sometimes, you will be seeing, you are, I think, you are looking so bad. And if it is little disturbed water, you will be seeing you are vacillating, you will have all those things, will command and control you when you are interacting in this world. Once you are able to have the crystal clear water, when the conditionalities are gone out of it and there is no dust over the mirror, you will be able to see the reflection of yourself in the mirror very clearly. This is what, because we are all supposed to be the reflection of the great power. We are not the great power per se as it is, but we are the reflection of the great power. And when the great, like the sun's rays, it permeates everywhere. And the sun's rays, because of the sun's rays, only a flower blooms. Because of the sun's rays only, because the entire, your body gets the vitamin B12, it is protecting you from so many other, because the diseases and gives you the shine and the glory of your personality. It is there and all. Likewise, as you get it, because when you are able to get the reflection, because the thoughts comes, the thoughts are energy personified. Since we are something like a quantum, the thoughts are nothing but quantum. More we spend the energy on our thoughts, wasteful thoughts, like worrying, on something which is likely to happen, which may not happen, and all those things, you are dissipating your energy. When you are dissipating your energy, what happens? You become a weak. When you become a weak, because then you have become succumbed, because whatever immediately, whatever is, it's possible for you, you do it. But whether are you doing it so dexterously, because you are capable enough, are you able? That is what, this is true for a student of KG, or this is true for a student who is doing the highest possible research. For everyone, this attitude comes about it. This is what finally we want to get it. This is what a 7-year-old Nachiketa has got it in this Upanishad. That is why they brought it. Even the boy, who has got, of course, he has got the wisdom carried over several births. He is getting it. They show us as a shine. They are showing it as a mirror. Each one of us, it could become, world will be a wonderful place. And it is always, you are only a bliss personified, happiness personified. So now we will be going to the mantra number 1.3.10 and 1.3.11, the two mantras. They are nothing but giving the entire, this modality of, because how the thoughts comes, how, because how there is a sort of hierarchy, how the senses and the body, what are all the hierarchy involved, how they are going step by step into your intellect and wisdom. 1.3.10 is in your page number 72. Indriyobhyo parahi attaha. Indriyobhyo parahi attaha. And it's all this grass body, which is there and all, because they are all, indriyobhyo parahi attaha, beyond the senses. Indriya is all the senses. These indriyas are called senses because they are all, the root word is Indra. Indra is supposed to be, because all our body, we have got all the body parts. We have got, because devatas, who are controlling each organ. Because at least in our scriptures that is meant. You are like, we will see, what are all the scriptures say and all. This is for the purpose of showing, because when you meditate on these gods, or when you meditate in the open sky, under the sun, when you get all the power of the body. Not only that, your senses also get empowered. They are being honed to the robust health. Once it gets, your senses will perform to the highest possible tuning. That's tuning your senses. Indriyobhyo paraharta, because beyond the senses are the sense objects. The senses are basically an instrument. Like you have got a camera in your phone, it is a camera, but it has to work with the software. Unless the software of a camera is downloaded into, already it is downloaded into the chip. Otherwise, you will have to download from your Google Play and all. Then only the camera will work. Otherwise, the camera is a dumb instrument. It will only do it. This is exactly what we have seen one of the Upanishad called Kenopanishadam. Because unless, when the Kena Prana Pranidhi, because what your eyes see is not what is seeing, because what makes the eyes to see, that is the software. Who is giving the software? This is exactly Indriyobhyo Paraha Arthaha. Beyond the senses are the sense objects. Sense objects in the sense whatever you are seeing in this world. Beyond the senses, because senses, because they only see whatever is being seen. The objects give you the attraction to the senses. Why you are getting attracted to someone or something in this world and all? Because not the object per se. Objects are inert, some may be insentient. But what happens is, what is the sensibility, because sensation that gives you, that is what, because which is called the tanmatras. Sabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, what we say. Sabda, because what is the words? And, you got a very good, because music instruments, because you got a player, maybe CD player or your flash player, when it plays, because the sound attracts you, you get attracted to that. Player as it is, nothing but inert, but it has got the software to play. That software, because that gets embedded into your senses, and between them, there is a connection. Because once you are able to hear the music, you get attracted to the music. You want to hear, particular CD or a particular sort of a record or particular this one, because that gets attracted. Because that is a sabda sparsha rupa rasagandha. Then why you want to get attracted to something? Because a gleaming, new car, you want to, because I'm touching, it is a gleaming new car, sparsha. I think a teenager gets attracted to someone, he thinks, because, who is the actor, actress, or something like that. And all, it is all the imagination. The mind gives you all those sort of possibilities, but which is not actually so. It is all made up. It may be synthetic. A person might have made a makeup, and they are being shown into the silver screen like that, because that may be like that. Even the polish that is made to the car, that is gleaming, and you get attracted. Because then you feel such a wonderful car, because unless you maintain it, it will not maintain the same gleam. You will have to spend a fortune to keep it clean. So that gives the attraction. Sabda, sparsha, rupa. Because when you are able to see a particular, look, and you get, because, oh, this house is looking so nice. This object is looking no nice, because the instrument is looking so nice. You get attracted to that. Because that gives, because what possibly you will be able to have the benefit out of that, that causes the object to be loved. The object per se is not to be getting loved and all. That is why, we will have to always remember Immanuel Kant, what he said. When you are interacting with another person with the same life force, treat them equally with a respect. Don't treat them as a means. You treat them as the end. They are also like you. In the sense, as they are causing, because whatever possibilities you imagine in your mind, you may be also causing, the sensation into their mind. What are you possible? If you think, this person is crafty, scheming and all, they may be feeling like that. And if you think, this person is a very good person, he will be able to help me. And if you think, then you will start looking like that, because like others are causing sensation in you, you are also causing the sensation in others. Then there is a connectivity, the friendliness between the sensation, the attraction takes place. It is not the object per se, it's not, but give up the objects. What is the objects to be given up? Nothing. But if your mind is clean, hundreds of objects, let it come through in this world. You don't have to be bothered. Even the whole world, let it be full of objects. You are the only person to enjoy the whole world. Even then, you will not be giving up. And we have seen in our scriptures, a Yayati, who wanted to get a youth throughout his life, and he didn't want to grow old. He wanted to enjoy the entire world without disease and all. He did. Finally, he got fed up. That is the lowest what a person can see. Because the final bliss that comes is when you are able to see the things as it is, when you are able to elevate. Because you are actually bliss personified. You are contaminating with all your thoughts. This is exactly Indriyobi Paraharta. Beyond the senses of the objects, Artebhyocha Param Manaha. Even beyond the objects, because the mind is the one which is more than the objects. Because like the horses, we said, they are the senses, and the senses are more than the person who is going to enjoy the entire body, mind, and intellect. Because what we have, the person who is going to, the senses are they say more than the sense objects. Whatever they are putting, the attraction into this world because of their tanmatras, sabda, sparsha, rupa, rasagandha, the taste and the touch and the look, everything that comes to you, and the smell. You like something very very good. You like a particular place. When I come, it's all the fragrance is so good. I am coming here and all. When you go into the temple, the fragrance is so good, you lose yourself. Your concentration goes towards the object, because if it is the devata, or because or in the temple, the people who are doing it, your mind also get into that highly elevated. All these things causes in. So therefore, they say beyond the senses are the sense objects. Beyond these objects are the mind. The mind doesn't happen only because of the tanmatras. It happens. The sensation, what it calls, they are more important than the objects. That is how it attracts to the mind. The mind has got trained to know this smell is good, this look is good, this taste is good. That's why you like particular thing. Manasatu para buddhi, because the mind, it has got, it's like a repository. It gets all the thoughts. Anything attraction, it goes on collecting. But it has to be distilled, because when you are in a plant, when you are in a mining plant, you get, 1 ton of ore consists of only 10 gram of that metal. The entire 1 ton of ore has to be processed to get that finally the 10 gram of the metal. Somewhere it is 7 gram, 5 grams. Even Kolar, it used to have only 4 gram of gold on 1 ton of the ore at that point of time. So when your intellect gets it, it distills everything. It takes what is useful for you, what is good for your development, what is good for your elevation. The conditionalities at that point of time. Your teenage, your elevation will be different. Middle age, you are still elevated. Your goal will be little different. The goal post will be shifting as you grow old. Because you give up, because you will not be hankering on the same thing which you have interacted and enjoyed. You give up something, because when you give up, you hold on to something else. Unless you hold on to something else, you will not be able to give up. When you want to get into the higher thoughts, then only you will be able to give the lower thoughts. You will be able to give up your habits only when you know, because you've got something higher to catch up. The higher to catch up, to make yourself, more sort of, the understandable to yourself. Because very often, my mind is blank. I'm not able to understand. The writer's block. They are not able to proceed. Even sometimes, you just feel nonplussed. What am I to do at this point of time? Nothing will happen, because as you go slowly on. This is what they say, manasatu para buddhi. Beyond, because that is the distill. From 1 ton of ore is processed, and finally a 10 gram of the distilled wisdom is available in the intellect. And para buddhit, buddhit paratma, manaparaha. Because beyond the intellect is the great self. The great self, what we call is what you call, the self or Brahman or Mahat, whatever is called the final one. Well, it is so that is the one, finally, that is called Brahman. Brahman or Mahat. Mahat it is being called. It is the one cosmic mind. What you call cosmic mind or the Brahman or the one, because that is finally to be finally to be more higher than the intellect also. Because, what you are getting finally, because when you are getting into the yoga and all, dharana and dhyana and all, it is the cosmic mind and the vibration that comes to you. It adds to your wealth of knowledge, and your intellect gets finally formed. That is why it says beyond, because manasatu para buddhi, and buddhi, then manas buddhi, buddhiratma mahan paraha. Buddhiratma mahan paraha is that mahat, cosmic mind. What they call Hiranya Garbha is the name what they give. That's also a name given. And then, because it is the one finally gives you the source of knowledge, which otherwise can't get the worldly interaction. It gives you intuition that comes. That is your chitta. You got a repository of your entire, because information available to you birth after birth. As well, you are accumulated in this world. The entire thing comes, and again the cosmic. More you get into your adhyatma, because your Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana, and otherwise also you get into the meditation or dhyana. When you do all those things, you get the intuition. Intuition comes not from the worldly experience. Worldly experience is the base, so that you will be able to actionable thought will be understood from intuition. That is the base, but it will give the direction. The direction which you have hitherto not used to, hitherto not thought about, that comes. That is the intuition. Why we call this intuition and all? Entire our Upanishads are nothing but collection of the intuitions of the great rishis. It is not the product of the body, mind, and intellect. It is the collection of the cosmic wisdom communicated to them through the vibration. It has been brought and put it to us so that we are able to understand to the extent possible within our control and elevate ourselves. So this is what, because basically this is similar sloka is there in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. 3rd chapter, 42nd sloka. 43rd sloka is the end of the chapter. 42nd chapter, 42nd sloka also, Krishna says the same thing. Why are you so dejected? So your body, because your senses are, because, your body is getting all these things because your senses are not communicating the right thing. The beyond the senses are the sense objects. Sense objects, because they are attracting to you because the meaning you assigned. The objects doesn't have any meaning by themselves per se, because your mind, imputes the meaning so that you get into the way of the world, you get attracted. Because this, how will you be able to get that out? Because more you get into your own thought process, giving up, see, like to see, because more into the things by experiencing, accumulate the experience, even the good experience and bad experience. You don't discard everything. Both of them are equally good. So when you are starting liking a good experience, then you call happiness. When you are having a bad experience, it is you call suffering. In the sense, you have to have equal attitude towards both, because both of them are giving lessons to you. Once you have that, you will be accepting everything. Your ability to accept will come when you are able to give equally the sort of a validity to a good experience as well as the bad experience. Without that, you will not be able to give the acceptance. Once you accept, your life will be wonderful, because you will be able to accept. Because in fact, the first mantra what we recite is Narayanaya Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolaya Niyati Prataya, one who has created, maintains, and who is going to be looking after this world. And finally, at the dissolution also, he will look after Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya. Because when you are getting happiness also, he gives it to you. And when something happens also, based on your conditionalities, he makes it happen so that you get the lessons and it adds to the repository of your knowledge. And the knowledge gets converted into the wisdom. That is in your chitta. You are not a vice president, president of vices. You become a vice president, president of wisdom. This is exactly, because it takes you to the level where you get more your wisdom, you will be able to live in this world without any problem. Because there could be hundreds of, no one has seen the world, without any sort of discomforts, because all, abnormalities. More you think about it, it becomes a problem. More you think about it, it is becomes some sort of a sort of abstraction. Abstractions, more you involve yourself into that, it becomes the sorrow, and the sorrow, more you get into that, it becomes a vicissitude, and the vicissitudes, more you becomes a distress. And it all evolves. It is a stage. But we are getting involved into the stage, more thinking about it, more, without just living it out. Yes, this has happened. What happened? There are something, which has happened to the people, because who cannot, withstand, in normal life. Because they have lost, because the entire, in Morocco, you see the earthquake. And in our own country, we have seen the earthquake, in Gujarat. On 26th January 2001, it happened. When how many people suffered, their families have vanished. But then, because then having done that, how to accept, you can go on finding the reason, but the reason, beyond because if you go on into that, you will not be able to get any answer. Because what happened is how you are able to accept, take it and move forward, then only will take. At least to the credit of the people who have suffered at that point of time, let me tell you, I think ordinary mortals like us, who would be imagining and could not have done. In Gujarat, and at that point of time, I was in Udaipur. I also felt the tremors, in Udaipur, so far away from that area where the tremors happened. Kandla, it happened. Thousands of laborers, migrant laborers, there is no atapata, because there is no sort of a What happened to them? Nothing is known. Their relatives, they all know he has gone to work for Gujarat. Where he is working also, most of them know. They were working somewhere else, because for a few days, they have gone to take up a temporary job in Kandla. Because in that earthquake, they all vanished. What happened? But how, because their relatives would have taken. How your own children and family would have taken. Well, because it is, that is the greatness. Because what happens is, if they have been only bogged down as to what has happened, they could not have. But accepting it's very difficult. Very difficult in the sense, because it can happen to anyone. So that, because they have still come out of that. It is to their credit. They have all come back to the normal life. They have rebuilt this entire area. They are still living under that strength. How they have got, how God has given. They have not only accepted that, whatever has happened, because such a destruction, they have only gone beyond that, because that is they were able to, that wisdom, what they have gone, their chitta has helped them to accept, help them to move forward. How many times we see, because of people losing their loved ones, and even before, they could, because even at a very young age, when it happens, is it why if God is so good a person, why it makes it happen? So he doesn't, it is all, that is what, it said, because there is a contract, the soul contract is there, whenever you come into this world. You got a soul contract. You want to know, because the prarabdha, when you say prarabdha is to exhaust whatever your karmas, once you have exhausted, that's all. Then, you have to get back. When prarabdha karma is there, you have to get back. And if prarabdha karma is there and I am going to accumulate further more karmas, is not necessary. That is why why all these things are, let us exhaust our prarabdha karma here and then go to do it. Because more you elevated soul and all, because once you come here, it's not that you should not live longer, and you should live longer and have the entire. Our scriptures say we should live for 100 years. Satamanam bhavati, when we say, because even the Upanishad says, Kurvantevehe karmani jivichat shatahum samaha. Isavasya Upanishad says you will have to live for 100 years, experience the world, get the wisdom, that is your purpose. So why you should not live for 100 years? You should live for 100 years. But then in the process, if something happens, but whatever happens, what 100 years is? 36,500 days? 365 into 100 is 36,500 days. Of which 50%, we assuming it's more than 50%, we may be losing in sleep. 18,750 will go off like that, and balance, because given our time, which we will be purposefully spending, we will be 1/3 of it. The 1/3 of it, once you are able to develop your habits, go well, as well as give up your conditionalities, then it accumulates and takes the chittas. Essentially, it is more than 6,000 days. You will be able to concentrate on development of yourself in this world. Normal person. There are Mahans, who might have, the entire 36,500 days, they would have lived with, like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, or, because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and all, the Ramana Maharishi and all, they have all had the awareness of the God at any point of time, because they never thought about the self as they being the body, and they have taken everything world as a different thing. That is why even in a lizard, in our Madhvacharya says, even the lizard, when it gives a small sound, chipping sound it kills, it says the God has created such a wonderful world to accumulate the knowledge. Are you not getting it? It's such a wonderful place. He has created you as a wonderful being. Why don't you take the advantage of it? Because that is the awareness. The awareness is not that you always think like that. You just focus on to that. Don't take anything with a pinch of because some sort of a doubt and conditionalities, some sort of because don't be skeptical on everything at all. In fact, Vivekananda says one very good method of how to develop is when there is a fight between your head and heart, go by heart. It is better to be a compassionate, kind, because even unduly kind and unduly compassionate, it's better to be that than to use your head and all. Because maybe, in an organization, and when a manager is working, he has to use his head. But even then, he has to use his heart. What does it mean? Don't take, because always, you will have to give a person the method to correct himself. You can show up as a serpent, a cobra can rise its hood. So that, give the threat, the sense of fear into him. If the cobra should not bite, that is the order, that is the God's commandment. Likewise, because you give, because if a person, if it is going to help by kind words, do that. If it is going to be only by threatening and giving all those things, do that. But finally, don't do any harm to him. This is what exactly they say. Once you are going to see everything, then you will be treating everyone like, as Immanuel Kant has said, and as Ramana Maharishi has said, see yourself in everything. Like, Advaiti concept, he said, you went to, because you are not the self as it is, and you are not the body, because you are there in the other person also. So what happens, when you are there in the other person, if he is going to interact with you, he will interact with you as it would be comfortable to you, as it would be appealing to you. He will not be doing anything, because once you have that attitude, the vibration goes there. It is not that, because without vibration, it doesn't happen at all. Because, the vibration, I will also explain. There is one small incident, because a small story in our Tamil literature, it has actually happened. I will tell you that with that, and I will conclude, how the vibration has been felt by people. Because now you have got a lot of techniques, because distance healing like Reiki, so many things, because I think theta healing, so many things are there. Likewise, how the vibration, to prove that we are a quantum field, that we are full of energy. And we have got, because only 0.01% of the matter, the rest of it are all energy. Because to prove that, it is there in the earlier in Sangam literature. There was a poet called Pisirandayar. Pisirandayar, his name, Pisir is something like an owl. His face used to look like an owl. So in those days, if someone looked like, because in our college and schools, we would used to give the nickname to our teachers, something like that. It is like that. He was a great poet. He was in the kingdom of Pandyas, Madurai. Madurai was the capital. He was in that. He had heard about another, because poet, but he is a king. He is a king himself. He's a king called Koparin Chola. He was in another Chola kingdom, but he is also a great poet, literature, and he has also heard about his. How he is kind to people, how he is helpful, how he is a great king, how people respect him, how great a literature he is. This Pisirandayar, he is also a great poet. He has also heard about it. These are not two separate kingdoms. One is Chola king and another is a poet in Pandya's kingdom. Both of them have not seen each one for years, because in those days, even travel to a few miles and going beyond the kingdom, because only if it is something to go and occupy, or you are being invited, as a sort of for some, the poetic conference and all, you don't go, because there was no occasion for them to meet each other. This is for more than 7 decades. But each of them, were knowing, and he was thinking, Koparim Cholan also, the other person also, Kovur Kilar. He used to be called by another name called Kovur Kilar. He used to see, and he is a good person, I should meet him sometime in life. His poetry is so good. One of the finest poems, the Sangam literature. Sangam literature is the highest distilled poetic wisdom in those days. And both of them have not seen for each other. And when he wanted to give up the kingdom, and when he was not, totally, because, he thought enough, whatever I have seen in this world, I will just, because I will give up everything, I will just go. I will leave it to, my successors. His son was also not as good, as he expected him to be and all. He was not finding, things as we have found, because when we say, our elders used to say in our time, it was used to be like that. Now things have gone bad. Now we start telling, because in our times it was like that. Now things have gone differently and all. But things are going for good only. But, at that point of time, our viewpoint is like that. So he was thinking, because in those days, there was a practice in the Tamil Nadu, particularly during Sangam period. When you are done with the entire life, when you feel, I have done with, I don't want anything more. Enough is enough. Not that, because now I will have to go into the higher realms. So I will have to go into the heavens. They used to be doing a fast. facing the northern side, which is called Vadakirithar. Towards face the north. Normally, even today, Vastu, people will say you should not keep your head towards the north. The north is the one, where you can give up your life as easily as possible. When you so decide, or even the life has to go on its own. So therefore, facing the north is Kopuram Cholan, the king. He wanted to give up, entire thing. He started, sitting on a fast, facing north, only thinking about, because God's name, and whatever he was thinking. People used to come, he used to say good words or give them, and he used to observe silence. He was following that. On the same day, same time, he just told his family and wife, look, I have been with you enough. I have done enough for you. I have kept everything for you. Now, because my close friend, I will have to be with my close friend. He went and he also sat up facing the northern side, wanted to go on a fast. He went on a fast to give up his life. Both of them, when they sat on that, because suddenly, the news spread. After all, people were coming and going, and they were wondering how come he knew, he's going on a fast, because he doesn't know what is happening in his household, in kingdom, and he also doesn't know how it happened and all. It all happened. It has been recorded. There is a poetry on that. Finally, it happened. Both of them left their life on the same day on volition, because they didn't. It's not a suicide. They just, because they didn't take any food, observe silence. They were in bliss. They have done enough. They've seen the world enough. They went. This is the vibration. This is the highest vibration recorded in history. It happened almost 2,500, 3,000 years before. In Sangam literature, it is there. The same thing has happened, because even in our own current, the generations also, we can talk about Romain Rolland, because one of the intellectual, who was in contact in Rabindranath Tagore and, because Mahatma Gandhi and all. At that point of time, their letters, reveal, they were on the same wavelength. It has happened, the vibration. So that, the vibration travels everywhere and all. It is not that, because therefore, when you are able to give up all your conditionalities, your vibration goes, the other person or the other object, whatever it is, it will be only working to your expectations only. Expectation in the sense positive. You don't want to treat it as a means. You want to treat it and end with the equal respect. You will get that. You can experience in your own life if you can just try it. Because all these things are the living laboratories. Like Ramana Maharishi is a living laboratory. So is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Even the story what I have recited you is when we heard this, in our younger days in our school, in the colleges, we used to be at the goosebumps. It used to come. Is it that it can happen? And the way it used to be described in Tamil literature, it all used to be taken. That means, there is a higher, you are having a higher mode of communication than this language, than this, all your own control and command. You are showing the power and all. Beyond that, everything, there is something called a power. That power is being finally used, even the Reiki and all, it's finally a Japanese doctor who took it up and made it into a Reiki. So vibration is very important. This vibration comes, that is the intuition. The intuition is the one when it comes, you are able to communicate, even to people whom you have not met. Even when you read a poetry, because I have not seen on Krishnananda, he is the one, who has written, on on some sort of, because he has written a treatise on this Kathopanishad. He is from Shivananda Ashram. He is one of the, after Shivananda, he is one of the prime masters. But whenever I read Krishnananda, I think I am communicating. The vibration is at such a level, the flow is just as if he is talking to me and I'm talking to him. I'm just trying to understand his point of view. That's all, nothing more than that. But why it should happen? It happens when I see Chinmayananda's, this one also. But Krishnananda, it happens. His flow is such, it touches, every cell of your body. It happens. Because when you read a book, it happens. When you read something on something, which you have not read, but you heard about, first time when you read it, it happens. These are all the pleasure of, these things. When it is vibrational, it is beyond your imagination. It is, it's not temporal, it is beyond, it is eternal. What we call Sanatana. See, as if you heard several times earlier, when I talked, when I see some of the lectures, or some of the things, even Shankaracharya, some of the things, what he has written, if you are able to read, with the proper understanding, you think, he is telling you what you have thought several times before, but you are not able to manifest in your mind. That is the greatness. So Upanishads give such a vast wisdom, the proven wisdom, the validated wisdom, which we will be able to give, and we will also be able to validate. That is what this mantra says. I was planning to cover 11 also. Today I am not able to, and because of the internet and all, I am trying to conclude the today's session here, and we will not have any sort of meditation today because of the internet problem. With this, I will try to close today's session. And if you have anything, you can give me a sort of a message or email and all. Now, even now, you have anything, you can right away ask me. I will be able to. It is a little sort of a little. I think it is little maybe try, because we don't have so many anecdotes to quote. But then many experiences, which have been brought in, which we have felt we never could express, or we could find someone expressing to our satisfaction. This Upanishad, that is why, these 7 mantras are going to be so vast. And that is why, because why they are great. Shankaracharya writes one thing, and Madhvacharya one word he has written, Nasa Binna Dharmas, Patathopi Nikla, there are no two leaves, same as in one the same tree. But if you go and examine, you see for yourself, it happens. But how they have said, because they are all telling finally the future generation, whatever they have done, you have to feel and experience it. Now we are trying to get an opportunity to feel and experience ourselves, so that we can validate our own experience. No one need to validate. So we are one. So with this, I will conclude. I think tomorrow, the next week, we will have meditation also. Hopefully, the internet will be cooperating with us. Thank you very much. Sahana vavatu, sahana punaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvina vaditamastu ma vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.